On a stormy evening at the family estate, three adult siblings, Michael, the eldest and a successful businessman. Emily, the middle child who is a nurse and an amateur artist, struggling to balance between her job and taking care of her daughter. And Jacob, the youngest, a carefree traveler, who is also a graphic designer, sit tensely in their late father's study. They're waiting for Mr. Collins, their father's lawyer for 25 years, to arrive and read the will. One would conclude that it was the thunder that rolls ominously as their simmering tensions bubble to the surface. Mr. Richard Reynolds was a respected and influential figure in their community. He owned a construction company that played a key role in developing local infrastructure and providing jobs to many residents. Known for his integrity and philanthropy, Richard was admired for his humble beginnings and his generosity, often supporting community projects and mentoring young entrepreneurs. He was a firm yet loving father who believed in hard work and unity among his children, values he hoped to pass down. Mr. Richard Reynolds was a man of action, not words. As the owner of Reynolds Construction, he built more than roads and bridges, he built opportunities. His company not only provided for his family but also became a cornerstone of the local economy. Known for his ethical business practices, Richard was admired for his fairness, often going out of his way to help struggling families by offering employment or financial assistance. Mrs. Margaret Reynolds passed away from an illness several years before the events of the story. She was the emotional anchor of the family, known for her warmth and ability to bring people together. Margaret was a former school teacher who taught at a local elementary school for over 30 years. She was beloved in the community for her compassion and dedication to her students, and her absence created a void that left the family somewhat fractured, making their father, Richard, the sole pillar of the household. Mrs. Margaret Reynolds was the quintessential nurturer, a woman whose compassion extended beyond her immediate family into the community. Her home was a haven of love and stability, a stark contrast to the fractured relationship her children now experience. Despite Mr. Reynolds' efforts to keep the family close after Margaret's passing, the siblings slowly drifted apart due to their own lives and ambitions. Richard's will and its unexpected twist were his last attempt to remind them of the importance of family and the values he and Margaret cherished. Michael, the eldest sibling, is a successful businessman who owns a chain of retail stores. He is married to Laura, a marketing executive, and they have two children, Sarah, 10, and Ethan, 7. Michael is pragmatic, ambitious, and often takes on the role of the decision-maker, sometimes coming across as controlling. His busy career has made him somewhat disconnected from his siblings and their struggles, though he views himself as the responsible one in the family. What about Emily? She is the middle child and a nurse, known for her compassionate and nurturing personality. She is a single mother to her teenage daughter, Chloe, 14, after her husband left them years ago. Despite her challenges, Emily remains kind and empathetic, often putting others' needs before her own. She is deeply attached to her late father and resents Michael's domineering attitude, believing he never truly understood the emotional bonds within their family. Jacob, the youngest sibling, is a graphic designer who works freelance, allowing him flexibility but also creating financial instability. He is single, having ended a long-term relationship recently, and is often seen as the free spirit of the family. Jacob is creative and sensitive, which makes him feel overlooked and undervalued compared to Michael's achievements and Emily's steady nature. He had a close bond with their father, who supported his artistic endeavors, which fuels his deep sense of loss and determination to uphold his father's legacy. As we continue with this story, please show your support to this channel by hitting the subscribe button. Also ensure to turn on the notification bell for more inspiring stories. Thank you. Michael stands by the window, staring out into the darkness. Typical of Jacob to be late for something this important, he mutters. Emily, seated on the couch, glances up from her sketchpad. He's not late, Michael. He's right here. Jacob saunters in, soaked from the rain, a mischievous grin on his face. Sorry for the delay. Thought I'd take one last walk around the old place before it's carved up. Michael turns, his jaw tightening. This isn't a joke, Jacob. Jacob shrugs. Never said it was. But let's not pretend this is about anything but money. Emily interjects, her voice weary. Can we just get through this without tearing each other apart? Dad would have hated that. Before Michael can respond, Mr. Collins enters, carrying a leather-bound folder. He sets it on the desk and looks at the siblings, and begins. Mr. Richard Reynolds' parenting style was firm but loving. He believed in teaching his children the value of hard work and responsibility. His catchphrase, "Build something that lasts," was not just about construction but a philosophy he hoped his children would adopt in their lives. However, we all know that your mother, Mrs. Margaret Reynolds' death took a toll on him, and he became more reserved. While he wanted you, his children, to reconcile and support one another, he found it increasingly difficult to bridge the emotional gaps growing between you all. But before Mr. Collins could continue, someone cuts him off. Are we going to be here forever? Can't you just go straight to the point, Mr. Collins? Jacob said, while smiling. All right, Mr. Collins said calmly. Your father's last will and testament is unconventional. Let me read it to you. As Mr. Collins begins, the siblings exchange wary glances. The will starts with sentimental notes for each child, Michael's leadership, Emily's creativity, Jacob's adventurous spirit, but quickly shifts to a cryptic directive. The inheritance will be divided based on a challenge. To honor my memory and ensure my legacy is handled responsibly, you three must work together to solve the puzzle I've left behind. Only then will the estate be divided. Michael's face hardens. A puzzle? This is absurd. Jacob leans back, smirking. Sounds like Dad. Always loved a good game. Emily's brow furrows. What kind of puzzle? Mr. Collins produces a sealed envelope. This contains your first clue. Good luck. Mr. Collins left them to figure it out. The three siblings are seen in the mansion's library, poring over the clue. It's a riddle referencing a childhood memory, where the three of you once sought refuge. The key to the past lies beneath. Emily's eyes light up. The old treehouse. Remember? We used to hide there when Dad and Mom fought. Michael reluctantly nods. Fine. Let's go. The siblings trek through the rain-soaked grounds, bickering along the way. At the treehouse, they find a weathered box buried beneath the floorboards. Inside is a key and another riddle. This key opens a door to the truth. But truth often hides in plain sight. They are now back in the house once they found the key, but tensions escalate as they argue over the clue. Michael insists on methodical searching, Jacob mocks his rigidity, and Emily tries to mediate. Hours pass before Jacob accidentally discovers the key fits a hidden compartment in their father's desk. Inside is a journal. As they read the journal, they uncover startling truths: their father's regrets about his strained relationship with them, his struggles after their mother's death, and a secret business deal that went sour, leaving a debt that threatens the estate. Michael's face pales. This can't be right. Dad was always so careful. Emily's voice trembles. He must have been trying to protect us. Jacob's smirk fades. So this isn't about splitting millions. It's about fixing his mistakes. They find a final note in the journal, leading them to a safety deposit box in the city. At this time, it was very late, and it was time for them to lay their heads. Each of them went to their various rooms, as they all have their individual room in their father's mansion. The next day, the journey continues. There is fraught with more arguments, but also moments of shared vulnerability. Michael admits his fear of failure, Emily confesses her feelings of inadequacy, and Jacob reveals his guilt for being absent. At the bank, the siblings open the box to find documents outlining a plan to save the estate, but only if they work together. It also includes a letter from their father, urging them to value their bond over material wealth. When the siblings learned about the significant debt tied to their father's construction business and estate, they initially reacted with frustration and blame. Michael accused Jacob of squandering opportunities, while Emily criticized Michael for focusing too much on profits and neglecting family values. Jacob, feeling cornered, lashed out, accusing his siblings of looking down on him. Their arguments threatened to derail any progress, but Emily, the most empathetic, stepped in. Emily suggested they start by understanding the extent of the debt and the resources they had left. The siblings, reluctantly at first, began reviewing the books and legal documents left behind by their father. Among the papers, they discovered a blueprint for a community center, the project their father wanted to leave as his final legacy. This discovery became a turning point, as they realized they would need to complete this center to preserve their father's reputation and fulfill his dream. As they implement the plan, they face external challenges, creditors demanding payment, a vindictive business rival trying to sabotage their efforts, and their own lingering resentments. The siblings' lingering resentments flared up during the project. Michael's controlling tendencies clashed with Jacob's free-spirited approach, while Emily found herself mediating constantly. However, the turning point came when they unearthed a set of letters their father had written to each of them, stored in a safe in his office. Michael's letter reminded him that leadership wasn't about control but about empowering others. Emily's letter praised her ability to bring people together, encouraging her to trust her instincts. While Jacob's letter expressed Richard's unwavering belief in his youngest son's potential, urging him to find his confidence. These letters served as a wake-up call, inspiring the siblings to put aside their differences and focus on their shared goal. Michael used his business connections to negotiate with creditors. He leveraged his reputation as a successful entrepreneur to buy time, convincing them that they had a viable plan to pay off the debts. However, the creditors were skeptical and demanded a detailed plan within 2 weeks. Michael's business acumen came into play here, as he devised a plan to sell off underperforming assets from the construction company while preserving the core operations. Meanwhile, Emily reached out to local charities and community organizations, pitching the idea of the community center. Her heartfelt appeals secured promises of donations and grants, contingent on the siblings showing progress in the project. Mr. Richard's longtime business rival, Victor Holcomb, caught wind of the siblings' efforts and saw an opportunity to claim the land for his own commercial development. He bribed contractors to delay construction and spread rumors about the Reynolds family's financial instability. Jacob, who had friends in the local construction workforce, discovered the sabotage. Despite his siblings' initial doubts, he managed to rally a team of trustworthy contractors to continue the work. Jacob's hands-on involvement in the construction site not only expedited progress but also began earning him the respect of his brother and sister. Their teamwork culminated in the successful completion of the community center. Through it all, they learned to trust and rely on each other, rediscovering the love they'd lost along the way. The grand opening of the Reynolds Family Community Center drew a large crowd, including families Richard had once helped through his business and children Margaret had taught. On the day of its grand opening, the siblings unveiled a plaque dedicating the center to Margaret and Richard Reynolds, a tribute to their parents' enduring legacy. During the ceremony, the siblings shared emotional speeches, each acknowledging their parents' impact and their journey toward reconciliation. Victor Holcomb, the rival, attempted to disrupt the event by filing a last-minute legal claim on the land. However, Michael had anticipated this and had already secured all necessary permits and legal protections. Victor's claim was dismissed, and he left in defeat. As the community celebrated, the siblings stood together, reflecting on how far they had come. Emily, looking around at the smiling faces, remarked, "Mom and Dad would be proud." Michael, for the first time in years, let his guard down, admitting, "I couldn't have done this without you too." Jacob, now confident in his abilities, responded with a grin, "We're stronger together, just like they always said." The siblings decided to keep the construction company running as a family business, with a new focus on community projects. They agreed to split responsibilities based on their strengths, Michael managing finances, Emily leading public relations, and Jacob supervising construction. Few months later, the siblings gather at the estate, now thriving, thanks to their collaboration. They toast to their father, his legacy, and the new chapter they've begun together. As they share laughter and memories, it's clear they've not only saved the estate but also healed their fractured family, a symbol of their parents' vision brought to life. From this story, it is a powerful reminder that even the deepest divides can be healed when family comes together for a greater purpose. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to Home of Stories TV. And do not forget to turn on the notification bell for more inspiring stories. Drop your comments below, let us know your thoughts.